exhibit the fruits of God and God's Spirit. And not only that, but the fruits and the evidence of working in ministry in the house of God. But when you find in the church, when in the church there is no productivity in the church, there's something wrong. In business, the first thing business say when they invest money in a certain thing and it doesn't pay off, they say that's a bad investment they made. And what has happened? God has invested into us and He expects us to pay off in full dividends to bring forth souls into the kingdom. But what has happened now when we go to church and folks are not getting saved, folks are not getting healed, folks are not getting delivered. Somewhere on the line, as the old folks said, there's a dead box on the line somewhere. We need to find out what's dead on the line that is hindering us from not producing. And God said how He been dealing with some for years. What is the main thing, the culprit that causes things to be dead on the line is sin. Don't you know, first natural then spiritual? In your heart, don't you know you have a valve around your heart that must stay soft? And they said when you eat all the type of foods full of cholesterol, fatty foods, what happens? That artery begins to get full and the heart has to work hard. And the harder it works, after a while, the artery itself gets hard to cause congestive heart failure. Don't you know, again, the heart of God, I'll show you another part of 4. The heart of God deals, as you know, naturally with the heart. The heart is divided into 4 chambers. The upper right, lower left, upper left, and lower left. Well, you know, and don't you know, when a person has a heart attack, one of the chambers of the heart gets damaged. And there's an overflow of blood and that the heart is not beating properly. So when the doctor goes into the chest, he has to not only put a balloon in there to open up that artery, he has to put a pacemaker in to regulate the blood flow. And don't you know, in God, what has happened in the church, the heart is an involuntary muscle that beats all by itself. You don't know how it's going to stop. You don't know how to stop. God is the one that set the timer on the heart. And also, as God motivates the heart to beat, the heart of God is evangelism. But the life of the heart is God's Spirit. But when there's no life, there's no hope. But the Bible says when there's life, there is hope. But without the life of God's Spirit, there is no hope. In other words, there's no beating. And what has happened now, when the blood, the heart is not beating, and the blood is not flowing, the brain, all goes to the function of the body, regulate the function of the body. They say after 3 minutes, when the brain don't get oxygen, it becomes brain dead. What is happening in the church? Spiritually, we got folks in the church that are spiritually brain dead. They can't feel the presence of God. They're cold. They can do wrong. They have no conviction of what they do. They can say whatever they want to say. They can do whatever they want to do. And what has happened? The devil has blocked blood flow, blocked the flow of God's Spirit. When the Bible says having a conscious shield with a high, we can't be convicted of wrong we do. We do wrong so long that God don't even deal with us no more. And the God saying with the heart, His Spirit is not moving. What's happening now? The members of the body of the church can't feel it because what's happened? We have lost the heart for soul winning. We have lost the heart of the God, desire the things of God, because sin has come in and contaminated what God had ordained for the Spirit of God to flow freely. And you're finding when there's no pumping of the heart, and the heart is barely beating, because don't you know when the heart beats, you can put your hands to your wrist and you can feel the pulse, and the pulse is the result of the flow of the blood regulating through the body. There is no flow of God's Spirit because sin has hampered that. And God is saying now, because how we're talking about winning souls and bringing people to Christ, and here nobody can get saved, and nobody gets saved, nobody get healed, nobody get delivered, and yet we're saying we're born again. There's no signs of God in us, but yet there's no, and you see it reflects into the church, but nobody's coming in getting delivered here because why? We are a poor reflection of what we say that we say. Somebody need to say amen. God is saying to us now, He said you're not bearing no fruit. And this is why you're on the verge of becoming, not because I haven't given you a chance, not because I haven't talked to you, not because I have not dealt with you. It is because now you have had a chance. I purged you. I cut around. I got rid of the unsightly things, the buildup. I told you now what I required, but you refused to walk the way I demanded you to walk. So what's happened now? The ultimate decision now is you're about to be cut off. I reminded when Jesus had went and told the story of the fig tree and how He told, in other words, when He came to the fig tree and cursed the fig tree, and the fig tree died, and He said, well, Master, they felt He was kind of harsh, but no, but the Lord had purged it because He had given a certain time. Don't you realize our time in this world is short? Jesus has sent us here to do an assignment and a job. We have fallen asleep and a wife and forgot to do what God has called us to do. So what has happened now? We are falling about the wayside. Don't you know history always repeats itself?